I had the opportunity a few years ago to witness a 12-year-old child throw a temper tantrum in a store because the store did not carry the size of an item that she wanted, but they did for her little sister. Now, the 12-year-old felt that if she couldn't get her size, that her mom should not be purchasing the same item for her little sister. So the 12-year-old got extremely angry and, of course, started to cry. I knew the family very well, so I stepped in to calm down the child a bit. And then I asked her this very simple yet profound question, which was, who is suffering when you are so angry? What was interesting is that she said it was her mom and her little sister who was suffering. So I said, no, no, they're just watching. And the funny thing is that she insisted that it was her mom and her sister who was suffering because she was angry at them. She could not realize how much she was suffering. And the reality is that she's not alone in the world with this type of thinking. Many people who are angry often believe that the people to whom they've directed their anger are the ones who are suffering. They fail to realize as an angry person that they are suffering. You see, when you are angry, in that very moment, notice something. You're not feeling happy. You're not feeling like a beautiful person. You're actually agitated, irritated, upset, intense, uptight. And some people get so angry that they end up feeling mentally and emotionally drained and physically exhausted because they've used up so much energy in such a negative way. And what this often does to a human being is that it creates a negative memory in your cells to create illness in your body. And this often shows up later on as we get older. So we get so wrapped up in our anger and how we believe that we're hurting others, the people on the outside, that we're least concerned about how we're hurting ourselves. What is also sad is that generally, when you are angry and you think you're getting back at others in this way, you're actually right. Because most of the time, the people to whom you direct anger, they are usually so unconscious that they fail to realize how easily they get drawn into your angry world and they get all entangled and involved in it. And they start to react negatively and angrily back at you, even hurling hurtful words. And this is a true reflection of unconsciousness. But if someone directs anger to you and you bring in some level of awareness, you would begin to see very clearly that the person's anger belongs to them. It is not your stuff, it is theirs. And what happens when you bring this level of awareness in is you would realize that hurt and negativity begin to disappear or even cease to arise, which end up dissolving in the light of consciousness because these type of negative qualities cannot survive there. And what is light of consciousness? Light of consciousness is simply awareness. Awareness means you're seeing clearly. You're seeing the light, in other words. So, if you are conscious enough, or even aware and alert, and someone directs anger toward you, ask yourself this question: where would that anger go? You're now aware. You understand that this anger belongs to that person. That anger will not touch you, but it remains with the angry person. Now, when people are abusive or physically abusive or try to direct some sort of aggressiveness towards you. I'm not saying to ignore that. You must be able to deal with that situation in a very practical manner, but just look at how your state of being is being affected. Okay? So when anger is directed towards you, and if you get angry back at the person, realize that this is an alarm that is going off. It is indicating to you that something is out of alignment in you. It needs to be addressed and it needs to be fixed and resolved within you. And this may require some self examination, self awareness. For some people, depending on the source of the anger, which could be something out of a traumatic event or something that happened way back when that occurred in childhood. So you may even need spiritual and psychological counseling. So when a 12-year-old child, or whatever age the child may be, gets angry, if the parent is conscious enough, instead of yelling back angrily at their child, the parent could actually help the child understand that he or she is the only person who is suffering in the moment of their anger. That child is the only one who is being affected negatively. And I know many of you are going to say, well, that's too much to expect of a child. And I would say yes, today, maybe, because it has never been part of the parenting process in the past. But we are entering a different era. We're entering a spiritual era where we are becoming more and more aware and hoping to evolve consciously. And so, if you were to start introducing this type of knowledge to your child with continuous application as a child has a tantrum, you would find that the child would begin to understand in due course. And this applies not only to children, to 12-year-old children, but also to the 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old grown-up children. Because I like to call adults children still maturing and growing up. So just like parents won't get this very deeply initially, so too it will take the child some time to absorb it, to understand it, for it to sink in deeply. The parent will have to keep explaining all the time as a tantrum arises. Unfortunately, today, parents are so busy trying to earn a livelihood, busy in activities, in so many distractions, that they hardly have the time or patience to even sit with themselves to bring this level of understanding into their own lives, to understand their own anger, so as to have the kind of wisdom that is needed to train up their child in the way they would like them to go. So, if parents were to become conscious enough, they would begin to deal with their kids with a greater sense of calm, which that they can then pass on to their children with a calmer and reassuring voice and disposition. They will then be able to better penetrate their children's minds and hearts to shift from this negative thinking to one of greater understanding, where they have a more quiet and peaceful heart. And this is what generates the greater understanding in the child, so that the child, and this applies to the grown up children, the mature adults also, so that you would understand, the child would understand how to be happy for others who have something that they don't have, and they would learn to even be okay without having it. Um, it will help them to become a little more patient and caring, understanding other people's backgrounds without even asking a question or knowing, but just understanding that angry people have issues going on, so you don't need to get angry back at them. As a parent, you'd be able to talk to your child to find out in this from this state of awareness. You'd be able to better have a conversation with your child to find out what is really behind their anger. Why is it they're so sad and they get upset so quickly? Sometimes a child perceives things in their own way, and they may have a perception of imbalance or unfairness compared to their other sibling. And so don't think this applies, and I'm going to keep stressing this applies not only to children, but to adults, because sometimes as adults, you've carried these issues with you from childhood to adulthood. We have a lot of anger in our world today, and I don't want you to be one of those people contributing to the collective anger in our world. I want you every day to feel like a beautiful human being, a wonderful soul, someone who is kind and quiet and understanding and caring and peaceful within. So I'm going to give you a project to work on because that's the purpose of me sharing all these insights that I've gained throughout my life. I want you to start from now on. Whenever you feel anger arising in you because you're reacting negatively to someone or to an event in your life, I want you to bring a level of awareness on yourself, to start becoming the watchful observer of you in the moment of your anger. Now, in the beginning, you may not catch yourself during the angry moment you're having with someone. You may actually realize it after the event, but that's okay. Over time, when you continuously remind yourself you need to keep looking at this anger, what will happen? The gap between the moment you catch that negative feeling of anger in you uh, to the moment you can stop it will start to close until eventually you get so good at it that you'd be able to eliminate that angry reaction of yours and angry emotion in you within seconds. Now, if you feel you're getting angry uh, too regularly, you have too much anger in you, and you need to get help and counseling, please get the help as needed. I know some people who like to take their anger to God. You see, you can pray from now until thy kingdom come for God to remove your anger, and that's okay. But they do that, and yet they go about unconsciously hurting others, saying, oh, one day I'm going to overcome this anger. God is going to take care of it for me. He's going to remove it. No, 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 no. That by itself is not enough. It's okay. Pray to God, ask for direction, ask for help to overcome your anger. But God needs your participation. He needs your cooperation. He needs you to take responsibility and do your part. So start with awareness of yourself in the moments you become angry and get counseling if you need to. And I promise you, if you introduce meditation into your life, you will, in due course, start to experience a very quiet mind and peaceful heart and soul. And you'd be able to go beyond your anger because greater understanding will start to come in within you. At this point, I want to encourage you to check out my book, Insights, a Life Companion, available on Amazon. There is a chapter 23, entitled Do Not Get Lost in Anger. And you would find it very enlightening to help you on your path of awareness to going beyond anger. I just want to leave you with this. Remember, when you're in a situation where people are upset with you, instead of you reacting negatively towards them, always remember that people's anger is their stuff, not yours. So do not get entangled in it. Yet, do not condone it if you are being abused or people are being aggressive toward you. I want you to think about you. what you are doing to yourself instead of what others are doing to you or have done to you. Think about how much you are hurting yourself with your own anger. Worry less about others and be more concerned about how you are affecting your own life. Be good to you. Be gentle with yourself. Let the anger and hurt go. And you're going to feel a weight lifted off you. Walk in light and be free. I pray and that you have a very peaceful state of being so that you can go beyond your anger.